Canterville Ghost. Mr. Hiram P. Otis was a rich American from New York. He had to come to live and work in England, but he did not want to live in London. He did not want to live in the city. He wanted to live in the countryside outside London. Canterville Chase was a large and very old house near London. Lord Canterville, the owner, wanted to sell it, so Mr. Hiram P. Otis visited Lord Canterville. "I do not live in Canterville Chase," Lord Canterville said to Mr. Otis. "I do not want to live there. The house has a ghost, the Canterville Ghost." "I come from America," said Mr. Otis. "America is a modern country. I don't believe in ghosts. Have you seen this Canterville Ghost?" "No," said Lord Canterville, "but I have heard it at night." "I don't believe in ghosts," Mr. Otis said again. "No one has found a ghost. No one has put a ghost in a museum. And you haven't seen this ghost either. But several members of my family have seen it," said Lord Canterville. "My aunt saw the ghost. She was so frightened that she was ill for the rest of her life. Also, the servants have seen it, so they will not stay in the house at night. Only the housekeeper, Mrs. Omni, lives in Canterville Chase. Mrs. Omni lives alone." "I want to buy the house," said Mr. Otis. "I will buy the ghost as well. Will you sell Canterville Chase? Will you sell the ghost?" "Yes, I will," said Lord Canterville. "But please remember I told you about the ghost before you bought the house." Mr. Hiram P. Otis bought Canterville Chase. Then his family came to England from America. He had a wife called Lucretia, 3 sons and a daughter. The eldest son, Washington, was almost 20 years old. He was good-looking and had fair hair. His 2 young brothers were twins. They were 12 years old. The daughter, Virginia, was 15 years old. She had large blue eyes and a lovely face. Mr. Otis took his family to live at Canterville Chase. The old house was in the countryside west of London. Mr. Otis and his family traveled from London by train. Then they rode to the house in a wagon pulled by 2 horses. Canterville Chase was big and old. Trees grew all around the house. The Otis family wanted to stop and look at the outside of the house, but the sky darkened. A thunderstorm was coming. Rain started to fall, so the family went inside the house quickly. Mrs. Omni, the housekeeper, was waiting for them in the front door. She was an old woman and wore a black dress and white apron. She lived at Canterville Chase and looked after the house. "Welcome to Canterville Chase," said Mrs. Omni. "Would you like some tea?" "Yes, please," said Mr. Otis. Mrs. Omni into the library. There was a big table in the center of the room and many chairs. Mrs. Omni put teacups on the table. Then she brought a pot of tea. The Otises sat in the library and drank their tea. They looked out of a large window at the rain. The rain was falling heavily, and the sky was black. They heard the thunder and they saw lightning. Mrs. Otis looked around the room. There were many books on bookshelves. There were paintings on the walls. There were also a red stain on the floor. The red stain was by the fireplace. "What is this red stain?" Mrs. Otis asked Mrs. Omni. "It is blood," answered the old housekeeper in a quiet voice. "I don't want a blood stain in my library," said Mrs. Otis. "Please remove the stain. Please clean the floor immediately." The old woman smiled. "It is the blood of Lady Eleanor de Canterville. She was murdered by her husband, Sir Simon de Canterville, in 1575. The blood stain has been here for over 300 years. It cannot be removed." "Nonsense," said Washington Otis. "I have some bigger Thorns stain remover from America. It can remove any stain. Watched." Washington Otis took the stain remover from a bag. Pinkerton's stain remover looked like a small black stick. He rubbed the stick on the blood stain. A minute later, the floor was clean. The stick had removed the stain quickly and easily. Mrs. Omni looked at the floor. She was frightened. No one had removed the blood stain for 300 years. Mrs. Omni was very frightened. "Pinkertons can't remove anything," said Washington Otis. "The blood stain has gone." Lightning flashed and lit the library. Thunder crashed over the house. Mrs. Omni fainted. Mr. and Mrs. Otis ran across the library. They helped the old housekeeper, who lay on the floor. Mrs. Omni's eyes were closed, and her face was pale. Mrs. Omni, cried Mrs. Otis. "Can you speak?" Mrs. Omni opened her eyes. "Trouble will come to this house," she said. "I have seen the ghost. The ghost will come for you." All the Otises helped Miss Omni to stand up. "The ghost will come," she said again. "You must not remove the blood stained. You must not clean the library floor. The ghost will be angry." Then Mrs. Omni went upstairs to her room. "Let's look for the ghost," said the Otis boys. "Let's look around the house." The Otises looked around the house, but they did not see the Canterville Ghost. That night, the family went to bed early. The storm continued all night. Next morning, they went into the library. The blood stain had appeared on the floor. "I will remove this blood stain once more," said Washington Otis. "Mother doesn't want a blood stain in the library. I'll clean the floor again." He removed the blood stain with Pinkerton night. "We must find this ghost," said Mr. Abraham. "B. Otis, it must stop making these stains. Your mother does not like blood on the library floor." That day, the family went out. They walked around the countryside near Canterville Chase. They went to the nearby village. They looked at the old village houses. Then they walked back to Canterville Chase through the woods. It was a summer evening, and the weather was fine. It was late when they got back to the house. The Otises were hungry and tired. After eating supper, they went to bed. The bedrooms were upstairs. There was a long corridor stairs. The bedroom doors were along this corridor. Mr. Otis woke up after midnight. There was a strange noise outside his room. The sound was like metal chains. The chains were rubbing together. Mr. Otis got out of bed and opened the bedroom door. He looked into the corridor. He saw the Canterville Ghost in the corridor. The ghost was an old man with burned red eyes. He had long grey hair and wore very old-fashioned clothes. There were chains on his hands and feet. He was rubbing the chains together so they made a noise. "My dear sir, your chains make a terrible noise," Mr. Otis said to the ghost. "You must put some oil on those chains. Here is some Tammany Rising Sun oil from the United States. Please put the oil on your chains." Mr. Otis put a bottle of oil on a table in the corridor. Then he closed his bedroom door and went back to the bed. The Canterville Ghost was very surprised. He had lived in Canterville Chase for 300 years. Everyone was frightened of him because everyone was afraid of ghosts. But this American gentleman was not afraid. The Canterville Ghost decided to work hard. He wanted to frighten the American. He made a terrible noise and shone a horrible green light in the corridor. Another door opened at the end of the corridor. Mrs. Otis's youngest son came out of their bedroom. The two boys had the pillows from their beds in their hands. They threw the pillows at the ghost and they laughed at the ghost. The ghost was amazed and upset. No one had laughed at him before. He was a ghost. Everyone is frightened of ghosts. No one had ever laughed at the Canterville Ghost before. The Canterville Ghost did not know what to do. He disappeared through the wall and the house became quiet. The ghost went to the secret room where he lived. He sat down on a chair. He thought about what happened. He had frightened people for 300 years. He had looked through windows and frightened the servants. He had knocked on the bedroom doors. He had frightened people in their beds. He had blown